Hey, Tailpin Airlines Math Industry, and we're going to be focusing on exponents and variables. What we're going to be doing in this video is simplifying an equation with a number, an exponent, and a variable. So, here's an example of what we're going to simplify. Say, if we have negative 6x to the power of negative 3 as our equation, and we're gonna have to try and put it in simplest form so people would understand it. And the other thing is we have to try and make that negative 3 a positive exponent. Many people like to work with positive exponents because it would help them in mathematics and it would help them get to your answer easy. So what we're gonna do to simplify is have this negative 6 right here and add a division symbol. The reason why we divide is because what we're planning to do is to make that a positive exponent. When a negative exponent crosses over a division line, that negative exponent will become a positive. So that division line is going to help that exponent become positive. But there is one problem. The negative 6 and the x to the third, negative third, is actually enemies with each other. So these two are not going to be friends. X and the negative 3 as the exponent is actually going to leave the equation. So they are no longer friends. What they're going to try and do is, even though negative 3, the exponent, wants to be positive, they're going to walk together and go under here to get x to the power of 3. The exponent is now positive, but the x and the 3 wants to take revenge on the negative 6. So they're going to go under the negative 6 and under the division line and place an attack on it. So what that gigantic metal dome thing that came out of the ground, that was supposed to represent the x and the power to 3 going under from the ground, like it's appearing from the ground. So it's to represent that this and that will be underground. If you are multiplying two equations with numbers, exponents, and variables in them, if you get an answer like this, and your worksheet or your math teacher tells you to simplify, we can determine this because in the last video, we were multiplying these kind of equations, and we would always put the numbers on one side and the evil variables and exponents on the others, because these are the same and these are the same. It's like we're putting apples on one side and the oranges on one side, or airplanes on this side and cars on that side. If we get an answer like this, what we're going to have to do is simplify that. So, since that the numbers and the variables with exponents are totally different from each other, what's going to happen is this part is going to leave the equation and take revenge on the 40 because they are different. So we have 40, and that travels underground, and that will change the exponent to get this and negative 15. Remember, if an exponent crosses the division line, it's going to change by its positive or negative. And this is the simplified version of that. But what happens if we have a problem like this and our math teacher or our assignment is telling us to simplify? Well, what we're going to try and do is, since a lot of people like positive exponents, they like to feel positive about their math work. So we're going to, what we did last time, make a division line So once this crosses to over here, we're going to get a positive 4. So we're going to get x to the power of positive 4. But there is no way that we're going to have that 2 become a negative 2. That makes things a lot harder. So what we're going to do is that 2 is going to be enemies with x and the power of 4 back from the last problem. So what they're going to do is 2 is going to charge attack at the x, making x injured. So now our final answer is 2x to the power of 4. That 2 is now sticking together with x, but x does not like it when 2 charges at x. This is going to be a simplified answer and the simplified version for this right here. Here's an example. A bunch of lasers is trying to hit a space guy riding a space scooter, and the lasers try to hit him horizontally in a video game.
Just shoot it down.
So remember, the numbers and the variables and the exponents do not like each other. So the number or the variable is going to attack each other when simplifying. Here is our last example that we're going to be simplifying, but instead, the x to the power of 3 is going to cause a major threat to the 6 to the power of negative 2. Here's why. Normally, we said the exponents and the variable and the coefficient or the number do not like each other. But in this case, the 6 to the power of negative 2 actually like each other. They're now buddies, clapping hands with each other. What the problem is x does not like the idea of that. So x was causing all the problems all along. So x gets jealous and wants to plan a surprise attack on the 6 and the negative 2. So we have that division sign again, because we're going to turn that into a positive. So when x to the power of 3 moves to the top of the line, 6 to the power of negative 2 are now buddies, but they want to take cover and take shelter. But since it's a negative and it crossed that division line, that now becomes a positive. So 6 to the power of positive 2. But the problem is that x to the power of 3 is teaming up with each other to have a surprise attack to 6 to the power of 2. This is what happens when we simplify this into this. But sometimes simplifying can cause problems to the numbers. And this is an example when people have to take cover.
I should be able to get you in there with this. Okie dokie, sending down that jet pod.
So that rocket jet pod that the stickman was gonna ride on, the person that released the jet pod and made it fly accidentally made it fall on the stickman. So that's when this has to take cover from the danger above it. That division sign is protecting it. These are all ways that we can simplify when we get to these problems on a test or an assignment. I hope this video has helped you. Thank you for watching Taoping Airlines Math Industry. Like and subscribe.